I'm live. I'm ticking off and yep, I'm going. So this is a live broadcast with a little bit of difference because I'm not going to really take much notice from the comments until the end. Um, because it's been a bit of a somber day for me personally. Because one of my all-time heroes, um, one of the people who I worshipped when I was younger, has passed away, and that is Neil Peart. Neil Peart. Um, Anybody who do not know who Neil Peart is, Neil Peart was the drummer of Canadian rock band Rush, and he's been a part of my life for a very, very long time. I mean, I've been a fan of Rush since I was 13 years old, and to hear of his passing um, today was a bit of a sobering thing, to be honest. So I was going to do a normal Saturday night live. I was going to do, a Saturday night live and kind of like I usually do. But in this occasion, I don't feel up to doing it. I just feel like um, reflecting on a person who contributed a lot to my early teens, especially with their music and that. And so, uh, it's quite sombering, really. When it's like if you supported a football team all your life, and the greatest player, you lived through the greatest times of this greatest player, you know, and you see suddenly they pass away. That is the effect what this fella has had on me. Um, it's just one of them things. It's just when I was younger, his music was an escape. Same for anything, if you support, a football team and the star player you worshipped in your teen years passed away, you will feel exactly the same way. And it's exactly the way I feel today. Um, I wasn't expecting it. A lot of Rush fans out there weren't expecting it. But of course, you know, life can be a bitch, can't it? If you know what I mean. So I thought I'd come on and pay my little tribute to Neil Peart. Now, Neil Peart, when I first came across Neil Peart, at the time I was 13 years old. 13 years old back in the day. And I was into me rock music, But at the time, everybody was, a bit say the same. You had long hair, you had kind of like flashy guitars, and he really more or less sung about one thing or wrote music about one thing, or sex usually. And it was kind of like a bit boring towards the end. And when I was kind of like 13 years old, I needed to come across a band what kind of like brought an essence of intelligence to their music, an essence of uh, substance, which was missing back in the day. Back in the day when I was kind of like young, and I remember I used to hang around with a lad at school who was more well versed in music than what I was, and we used to go to second-hand shops in uh, Eastbourne and that, and pick up vinyl and wherever we could. And he introduced me to Rush. He basically, I went upstairs to the top of his attic, and I went upstairs, and it's kind of like lived in the loft, and he had a copy of 2112 by Rush. I never even heard of this band before in my life, and I looked at the back of this kind of like album, and they're all dressed in silk kimonos and stuff like that. And I thought myself, these guys are really uncool. This band looks pretty terrible. They look pretty terrible on the LP. They look really bad. But he played the first side 2112 for me, and it blew my mind. It was how can three people sound this heavy, big in sound, you know? And that was my love affair with the band from then on. I got obsessed by them, to be honest. And it's weird. Rush are the type of band which, if you don't get, you don't get. They're a Marmite band. You don't get the vocals, you don't get the musicianship, you will never get them. But if you do get them, you're stuck with them for life. And that is exactly what happened to me. We're getting pulled into this um, Rush kind of like um, pulled into this Rush type of world, if you know what I mean. So I started buying their LPs after that. I started to get 2112, which was really the album, the benchmark for me. What it stood for about individualism, what it stood for about sticking up for yourself and doing things the right way. All Neil's kind of like lyrics. And after that, I started to delve more into the 80s stuff, Hold Your Fire, Moving Pictures, stuff like that. Moving Pictures, I fell in love with. Fantastic album, clinically. Um, so it's one of them, you know, bands which you either love or hate. Terry, hello Terry. I wasn't going to answer comments tonight, but I will. I'm drinking McEwen's Headspace at the moment, and I'm going to crack one of them open in a minute. Hope you had a great Christmas. Hope you enjoyed your Christmas and the New Year. So thanks for watching, mate, tonight. I don't know. I'm talking about a drummer, Terry. I don't know if you never heard of Neil Peart. He was a great big inspiration to me when I was younger. I was a big fan of the band he was in, and of course he's passed away. Yes, well, passed away Tuesday. I have a brain tumor and that, and so it's a bit of a shock, especially if you're a fan of his band Rush. Um, so to me, as I've grown up with a band, to hear of the passing of this talisman, which he is, you know, he was basically renowned as the world's greatest drummer. And I don't think that it's got to be true because there's no one out there which really touches his technical ability. So to hear of him, his loss is a big thing for somebody like me who's kind of like followed the band through the years. When I heard about his death this morning, it's kind of like quite shocking because it's like I explained earlier, it's like someone in your favourite football team who is you know you worship when you were a child and suddenly pass away. It's that type of feeling. So it was you know out of the blue for me, and yeah, that's my first love affair with the band Rush. And I started to go through all their back catalogue and everything, and I started to listening to Power Windows, the stuff they released back, you know, later on in the 80s and that, the stuff which was harder to kind of like get into, and you could really appreciate when you buy an album. So you bought an album, and you on the first play of an album, you listen to it, and you don't get it. You don't get it. You don't get the different transitions in the songs. You just don't get it. But over time, and you keep playing it and keep playing it, you start to get the you know and appreciate the technical ability of the band itself. And that's what happened with me. And I've got some messages from people who know I'm a big fan of the band, and to hear that he passed away this week was a shock. And you not just lost, you know, a musical genius. You're losing more than that. You're losing a, a drummer, which, let's face it, this guy Neil Peart. No one, if you haven't heard of him, that's fair enough. But he was, if you look him up on YouTube and everything, he was more than just a drummer. This guy influenced a lot of drummers. And so it was always a shock to me when it happened. Like I say, I'm absolutely obsessed by this band, and to hear that the three of them, won't be playing anymore is a big thing for me. It really is. As I've seen every tour since Roller Bones, it's a big thing for me, and it was a big shock for me. And still now, I can't comprehend in passing. When I first heard, I was in shock, and it's very rare I get emotional about something, but it was definitely something which even now I'm still in shock. And it's one of them things. Hello, Dean, mate. Nice to hear from you, mate. Hope you're well. Hope you had a good Christmas too. Hope you had a good Christmas, mate. And so it was kind of like everything, which was just kind of like boom. It's still, I'm in shock. I really am. I really am. But when you listen to, when you're into a band for so long, and when you've been listening to their albums and their songs for so long, near enough all my life, and you hear him passing away, and this was, this is more than just a normal band. Rush is more than a normal band. It is a religion. It was a band which was completely separate from the rest of them. Technical abilities, they were the masters of their instruments. They really were. And I'm gonna stick up. Thomas Metal, 75. This guy was the very reason kept up with drumming and wanted to continue down this path. I was stunned, speechless yesterday. Listen to Rush made me cry. It really did. It really made me cry too, because you don't realise what an influence his lyrics and his drumming and his musicianship had on your life. It was a big thing. And still now, I was going to get all my Rush CDs out of all the cupboards over there to go through. I was actually going to do a discography of the whole lot tonight, but all over the place. I better not do it. It's, for me, it's like losing a lot of people. It would be like losing a limb. Let's see what comments we've got. You're not Mayor Wasey. His drumming, yes, among the best ever in any genre. He was the greatest drummer in the world. I don't care what people say. He was better than John Bonham. He was better than Keith Moon. He was technically brilliant. The only other drummer I can think of which has got the technicality of what Neil Peart had was Stuart Copeland, maybe Marco Minimum. But apart from that, it was a big thing. It's a big thing. It's gonna hurt. It's hurting. Let's see what Matt Barker says. Jonathan Brown, Happy New Year to you. Nice to see you, Matthew, mate. I've got your box 3/4 done at the moment. I'm hopefully going to send your parcel out most probably the week after next. So look out for it, mate. I have enjoyed getting your beers in, I have to say. I have to say. He says, what's coming to light is that he was among the greatest fighters in rock history. Yes, and he went undiscovered for so long. He really was. He was kind of like one of the greatest talents, if you want to call it that, in rock history. He was, he wrote books. He played the hell out of his drum kit. He wrote decent lyrics as well. Definitely. So So we'll see what we get. See, the Neil Peart fans are coming out to play now tonight. I don't blame them either. Matt Barker has come up. Best back, definitely. Matt Barker, I'll tell you now, I think they're the best band in the world. But that's coming from a Rush fan. I'm a big Rush fan, and for me, music should move you emotionally. For me, they were the best band in the world for me, definitely. I don't think there's a band which really touched my soul like they did, definitely. Must have raised Martinez son. He contacted me last night to share his sorrow with Neil's passing. We went together to the R40 show here in Vancouver, my son's first show. And what a show. The only regret over the R40 tour was the fact, of course, it never came to Europe. And I would have been the first one to get a ticket for it. But I did see them on everything else up to R40, so I'm quite pleased that I did. But I've got the DVD, Blu-ray of the R40 tour, and I have to say, I wish I was there. Definitely, definitely. Moon 5 says, if it comes up, I was expecting to share your shock. It's shocking. It's shocking because they're a very private, insular band. When he retired back in 3 years ago on the R40 tour, I thought, well, fair enough. He's played his bit, and more, the 3 hour set would have been their undoing, but he more or less played his bit. He did his bit, and full respect to the bloke. If he wants to retire, because in the statement in his documentary, he said his ability to drum was diminishing and he wanted to go out at the right time, and that's fair enough. That's the best thing for you to do, without a doubt. Go out at the top, and I think a lot of fans and a lot of people who like the band would agree with him. Go when you feel it's right time to go. But because they're so private, you don't realise what's going on in the background, and I think that's why it's such a shock. Where you got a brilliant musician, a brilliant drummer, who suddenly passes away. Is also wondered to so I truly believe his vine will grow in greatness sequences. Yes, he's already a legend. He was a legend when he was alive. For me, he was a legend when he was alive. He was phenomenal in whatever he did, and he never really gloated about it. He was a very, very modest person. He'd just go in, play a 3 hour set on stage, then go out on his motorbike the next day. Yeah, definitely. I'm sorry at the moment, it's not about beer, but because of what's happened, from a selfish point of view on my behalf, I don't really feel like doing a normal Saturday Night Live. I just feel like this should be a tribute to one of my heroes. Matt Barker says your box should be with you on Monday. Hopefully, I hope you like what you see. I'm looking forward to it, Matthew. I don't really do unboxing videos, but I will let you know exactly what I think when I see it. At the moment, like I say, I've still got a bit to do for yours, but I do like doing them. I do like sending the beers out and that. It's always a good laugh and that. I feel a bit guilty for sending you stuff you already had before, because I try to send you stuff which I think you never had before, but it's the way it goes. And Moon 5 says losing it really resonates today. It really did, and they played that on their last tour as well. They played it on the R40 tour, and I think it was put in there when the fatigue was getting in on him, and the fatigue was kind of like hitting him. So I think that resonates, more today, obviously, but I think it was on the cards then, you know. Yes, the Saints did win today. They won today because we're playing really well now. You know, against Leicester, I thought we would win because they had the motivation. They beat us 9-0 at home. I thought we'll win. I just honestly thought that we will beat Leicester. So let's go on and see some more comments about Neil Peart. Thomas Metal 75. The R40 tour was mint. I saw it in Boston, Massachusetts. I wish I was there, Thomas, mate. I really do. He looked mint. He really did. I like the way where they started to strip the speakers back and change the backdrops as they got back. You know, got back to the earlier stuff. Yeah, bad arthritis and didn't want to play through it, to be honest. He really did not want to tour anymore. He did. I totally agree. But I tell you what I liked about what he did. They picked the 40-odd shows in America. And I thought, we do the 40-odd shows. We'll kind of like say, yes, we'll do that and leave it at that. And they did it the right way. They did it the right way. They said goodbye and they did it the right way. You wouldn't want them to take that R40 tour around the world and suddenly you can see them suffering in it. But they did the right amount of shows, even though they didn't come to Europe, but they did it the right way. They kind of like left it there on a high with a big question mark over it in a way, because Geddy Lee said, well, we'll maybe do something, but then again, we might not. But definitely. Matt Barker. See what Matty says. What are we on tonight? Just on my first people. So I've got me gifts that were nice. Well, at the moment, I'm finishing off, Matty, the Beltenberger Kloster, and just going to open one of them. There you go, Dad, if you got that. One of them. So, yeah, I'm just going to do that. Rod J. Beer Reviews has come up with a comment. He says, cheers, Jonathan. Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you, Rod, mate. Hope you're well. Hope you had a good Christmas. No doubt you did. And had loads of American beer, like you do. Chris the Butcher's come up. If I can bring him up. I'm doing well, Chris. How are you doing? I thought you were retiring. Someone said to me you were retiring anyway. Maybe not. So, cheers, everybody. We're about 23 minutes in. Any more Neil Peart tributes? Stick them up on the comments, and I shall read them out. As if anybody knows who Neil Peart was, he was one of the world's greatest drummers. He passed away Tuesday. The press release was Friday. He was 67 years old. He toured with Rush for 40 years. He finished touring about 3 years ago, and he had a brain tumor which ended his life, which nobody knew about, to a lot of the fans' surprise. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's a personal thing. But it's a big shock to everybody. It's a big shock to people who've been listening to this band for years, who've been listening to this band since they were teenagers, like myself. So I just thought I'd call this news feed tonight the Neil Peart tribute. Anybody out there who wants to submit anything about Neil Peart, just stick it in. And I'll bring it up on the comments like you do. So what everybody else is drinking tonight, put in the comments as well. It's always nice to hear what people are drinking and talking about what beers they're drinking and stuff like that. So as I was saying, I was back in the 80s at the moment. Oh, here we go. We got a comment from, if I can bring it up, from Moon 5. It says, various violinists were engaged to play Losing It at the R40 tour venues, except in Vancouver, Canada, where the original violinist, Ben Mink, of course, signed them for a reunion. I think, if I remember, on the R40, the Rush R40 DVD, was it Jonathan Drinkledge who did the the bow, I can't remember. But it was great to hear that song, I have to say. You know, Signals for me is a favourite album of mine. It was a shock at the time when it came out because obviously it went into a different direction. But yeah, it was a good one. Yes, he did. He did go too soon. It's just one of them things. One of them things. If in America, well, I don't know where you are, Rod, but obviously they were a big band in America, and it was a shock to hear. It was a shock to hear. It's like I said at the beginning of this stream, if it's your favourite footballer from your favourite team, you supported when you were a child, and they suddenly pass away as you're older, it's that type of shock. And that's the type of shock that a lot of people were getting because I suppose the whole thing was kept private. See what we got. I've got a new set from Peart to have tonight. Yes, I've seen that. Never picked it up. Tell us what it's like, Matt. Tell us what it's like. I bet it's a belt of a beer. Usually is from New York, as we know. Excuse me. Rod J. Beer Venture says, yes, I've had that one before. Madura Brown Ale, yeah, in a little brown can. Yeah, I remember that. I quite like that one, actually. Gosh, sneezing. I did enjoy that. Trying to think when I bought it, where I got it from. It was a nice beer, anyway. It's a nice beer, Rod. Have you reviewed it, Rod? Tell us in the comments. Moon 5 says, it'll come up. K.D. Lang's Fiddler. I'm not too sure on K.D. Lang, to be honest. I know Ben Mink was playing with Rush before K.D. Lang anyway. I can't remember. I can't remember that. So Matt Barker's come up with what was the best beer when you was in Spain? Do you have a good time away? Excuse me. I did have a good time away, Matt. The only problem is I've got the bug coming home from Spain. And that's why I haven't done any reviews until today. Really rough. I don't know if it's because it's the air cabin pressure or whatever. It was really rough the first week back. But the best beer I had in Spain, I'd have to say, would be that Ukrainian one, Lvivsky. Christmas, I would say. There was some good beers. I've reviewed some good beers in Spain. I'll give you they were some good beers, but there's some stinkers as well. So there you go. Moon 5 has come up. Like beer, but not here for that. Fair enough. Yes, I'm not. I'll put that link up because I like beer. But I'm also a big Rush fan, and it's if you want to talk about Neil Peart, talk about Rush, talk about anything you want with what's happened and everything like that. Stick it in the comments, Moon 5. I won't ignore you. We will talk about Rush and stuff like that because I am just as enthusiastic about that band as ever since I was 13 years old. So you put it in, Moon 5, and I will talk to you. So we got Rod JB Adventures. He goes, I talked about Madura earlier this morning, but haven't given it a proper review. Need to do some. Highly do it, Rod, because I thought it was pretty good. Pretty good indeed. Excuse me. Thomas Mel 75 says my favourite Rush song is a tie between Subdivisions and Working Man. There is a lot of songs by this band which I absolutely adore. There is a lot of songs. I could pick a song off every album which I absolutely worship, and I might just do that now. Let's start with the first album, the Rush album. Working Man. It's there. That's the best song. Fly By Night. Fly By Night, I would have to say, in the end, maybe. Um, Crest of Steel, I would have to say, Lakeside Park, 2112, 2112. Farewell to Kings. My favourite, without a shadow of a doubt, is Xanadu. Xanadu is a phenomenal song. It's brilliant. Hemispheres, which is a favourite of mine. La Villa Strangiato is most probably the greatest instrumental song you would ever hear in your life. Permanent Waves, Speed of Radio. But I do like Jacob's Ladder in that as well. Moving Pictures, well, what can you pick out of Moving Pictures? There's a handful of songs out there, which is more or less a flawless album for me. So I would say Tom Sawyer, it'll have to be Tom Sawyer, won't it? Limelight, Red Barchetta, YYZ, any of them. Signals are losing it. New World Man, Subdivisions, it's all there. Grace Under Pressure, After Image, Kid Gloves, you know. Power Windows, let's go to Power Windows. Let's say Territories, Middletown Dreams, Big Money, Hold Your Fire, Prime Mover, Mission, Turn the Page. Let's go to Presto, The Past, War Paint. Then we go to Roll the Bones. Roll the Bones. Roll the Bones, Bravado, Ghost of Chance, Counterparts, Nobody's Hero, Everyday Glory, Test for Echo, Colour of Right, Resist, Vapor Trails, Vapor Trails, One Little Victory, Peaceable Kingdom, Snakes and Arrows, what to say? Armored Sword, Far Cry, Clockwork Angels, The Garden, Clockwork Angels. There they are. I'm waffling on. The view count's gone down. But I'm just giving you my favourite Ross songs in the whole discography. Barber Heath. Let's see. What's this coming up? Barber Heath. Let's see what Barber Heath's coming up with. Hello, Barber. Nice to hear from you, mate. Nice to hear from you. Nice to hear from you as always. Nice to hear from you. Didn't he die around the same? I don't know. I'm not too sure, Matt. Not too sure. Not too sure. Let's see what it says. Yeah, he was a massive shot. Again, you know, you can't replace these rock stars which are going. You can't replace the old school rock stars, you know. Lemmy is another one. You can't replace somebody like that. So it's kind of like one of the things. I've got Salt East in collab with Docs next up. I've had it in draft, but never had a can. You have one on the way. Spot on, mate. I'm getting into the Salt Beer Factory stuff, as always, you know. They're relatively new to me, Salt Beer Factory, because I don't really get their beers up here. Even though they're the Yorkshire brewer, I don't really get any of them up here. So I'm looking forward to that, Matt. So thanks for that, mate. Spice and Easy. Spice and Easy. He's got, hi, dude. Hello, Spice and Easy. Nice to hear from you, mate. As you can see by the title of this, it's a tribute to Neil Peart. If you've ever heard of Neil Peart, put it in the comments. But a lot of people don't hear of Neil Peart. So cheers, everyone. Just gonna go to the toilet. Hey, back again. Oh, that's better. That's better. There's still 4 people watching us. That's a good one. Fucking do. When nature calls, it calls, doesn't it? You know what I mean? Drink of choice tonight. I'm drinking the dregs of Weltenberger Barrel up there, Barber Heath, and I'm going to be drinking that next. I haven't had that for a while. So I thought I'd pick one up, give it a go. Give it a go as normal. See what else is coming up tonight. You join us tonight, Reaper Scratchings tasting. Reaper Scratchings, I don't know, Spice. I'll have to look at that. Reaper Scratchings tasting, that sounds pretty terrible. Reaper, is that a chili? I'm purely a Korma person, Spice and Easy. I'm a Korma person. I'm not into all this kind of like spicy stuff. I'm a proper wimp when it comes to stuff like that. Really am. Doc said Marble Brewery from Manchester there yesterday did a collab. I will probably collect beers and we'll do another box time. Like, Matt. Yes, I'm up for that. I'm up for that. And I'll tell you what I'll do, Matt. In the summer, I will send you some Yorkshire beers. Proper Yorkshire beers. Definitely from wherever I'm at the moment, North Yorkshire Dales Brewery. I'm going to send you some beers from. I was going to do it this time, but I haven't been there. But I will send you some proper Yorkshire beers, mate. Get your hairs growing on your chest. We do that, yeah. I do like doing these boxes, Matt. Definitely, it's always nice to do this. But it's hard when it's a little bit disappointing in a way that if I've got you a beer and you've had that beer before, you know, I get a little bit disappointed, downhearted about it. But you know, there's nothing meant about it, but it's just the way it is, you know. So yeah, we'll definitely do a summer one as well. We can do it twice a year if you want summer, maybe in January, just to break it up. I'm up for that, mate. Definitely. So we've got Matt from 2105, not from 2112. Matt, hi, man. Hello, Matt, 2105. If you're a Rush fan or if you're a beer fan, stick whatever you want in the comments and we'll reply and we'll talk to you and tell you exactly what we think. So let's go to Thomas Mel. Peart is a sham. Peart is a drummer, not Peart. Peart is Peart, not pronounced the same order. Peart is a drummer, not Neil Peart. It's definitely that, isn't it? Peart. Neil Peart. He's the drummer. He's the drummer. And what a drummer he is too, definitely. Hello, mate. Finally sat on. I was telling this afternoon. Loved it. Yes. Hello, mate. Hello, Paul, mate. How's it going, mate? It's not bad, is it? I have to say it's pretty good. I enjoyed it when I had it. It made me smile, and that's what beer should do. It should make you smile, make you feel enthusiastic about it, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed it, Paul. I'll have to check that out. I don't know if you uploaded the review yet, but I will. I will check your channel out, see what we've done, and I'll watch your review of it, mate. Definitely. What we go from this? He goes, last stream taste test on the hotel. We're eating them as a challenge. What time is it, Spice and Easy? I will have a look later. I'm a Korma person. It's not my thing. That box says, sound fantastic, mate. We'll definitely collect throughout the year, save for the one box. Don't worry, there's so many beers these days, impossible to know if people have had them or not. It is. You know, the marketplace is awash with beers, craft beers, but it's a great thing. It's a great thing. It's, you know, I'm not complaining, and I don't think you will be complaining about, you know, the amount of beers which are out there, but you know, you want the quality there as well, but you're not necessarily going to get the quality. But it's always great to see craft beer out and about, and of course, no doubt Tesco will change their range. usually for Easter. So be prepared for that, Matt. I would say it'll be, if they change their range, it'll be about 2 weeks before Easter. They'll start bringing out new beers. It usually is. Let's see what Spice and Easy says. Start at 7, eating and dying at 20 past. This sounds about right. That sounds about right. I will look in. Was it 6 o'clock now? I'll have a look. I'll have a look in about 7 o'clock. See how you're doing. Like I say, I'm a wuss when it comes to stuff like that. Give me a korma or butter chicken. That's all I want. And a naan bread, and I'm happy. I'm a proper wuss when it comes to hot food. I just can't handle it. Although I do like tin mackerel with bits of chili in. So stick that, it's not bad. Tin mackerel with bits of chili in and stuff. I like that. But when it comes to stuff like, hot stuff, it's not me. It's not me at all. Matt Barker says, thanks for the different styles. That is the best thing about our beer boxes. There's a couple more logos I would like to like in. I would have liked in your box, but I know you really wanted dog. So I'm not bothered. It's always a pleasure when someone sends you a box of beer. I never complain about it. I really don't, because at the end of the day, it's your choice. It's what you think, and I will never criticise it. I'll never criticise what you send us. Sometimes, at the end of the day, it's beer at the end of the day. And I like lager, and there's some good lagers, there's some bad lagers. But it's just figuring out, the wheat from the chaff, isn't it, at the end of the day? Like I said, I'm sending you a vocation lager, which I thought was excellent. Hopefully you will find that excellent as well. The Rising Sun, I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was really, really good. I might chuck another couple more vocations in. Hopefully you've never had them before, but I might do that next week. So see how you like it. Matt Barr says, my wife makes the most amazing Filipino chicken coconut curry. It's got a spice, but nothing like blowing your mouth off. That's what, yeah. It's funny enough you say that. I went to this guy, well, me and the missus, we went to this curry house in Sussex, Hurst Green, and I had a Filipino type of curry. It was kind of like, it was green. It was kind of like luminous green. It's kind of like blew my head off. It blew my head off. It didn't look much, but steam coming out of my ears, like you do. What we got? We got spice and dinner's ready, lol. Maybe catch you later. Bye for now. See ya, Spice and Easy. Always a bit. I will look in on what you're doing. Crikey. Rather you than me. I'll tell you. I don't want to go to the doctors with a stomach ulcer condition. I'll tell you that. So cheers, everybody. This beer, I thought I'll tell you what beer I'm drinking. Is that one there. Get that there? Belton Burger, Barrel Cow. And I have to say to you, that beer is very, very good. It's a very, very good lager. Very good. I have to say, simple ingredients in a German beer. It's done brilliantly. That's what it's all about. So let's have a recap. Oh, we got another comment. Let's see what the new comment is from Matt Barr says, yeah. Look forward to that. I'll make that the first one to do. First one to review. Yeah, it is. But it's cracking. It really is. It's a cracking beer. It really is. Old school German beers. You can't beat them. You can't beat old school German beers. See what else we've got coming up. Stefan Bream, after this great beer marathon in Spain, everyone's happy to see you well alive. Keep on marathoning. I will, Stefan. It's kind of like weird. I had a great time in Spain. It's always great when you go to Spain. Um, I like everywhere I go abroad, I tend to kind of like, much to my wife's annoyance, go towards the shops, say, what beers have they got and everything like that. And I ended up finding this really, really great Russian superstore. And I ended up buying beers every day. And these beers I had to get them on YouTube, get them on YouTube, get them on YouTube. I loved doing it. And it was fantastic. It was a really good laugh. But when I got back from Spain, um, that's when I felt a bit ill. And of course, I kind of like, I couldn't do any last week. I couldn't even taste anything or even smell anything last week. I was all shivering up and everything. This week, I managed to do a couple more beer reviews. There's another three coming up next week. So look out for it, Stefan. One of them's that one, which I have to say, Stefan, is an absolute cracker. Really enjoyed that one. So yeah, I will keep on marathoning, mate. Will do. But I'll give the craft scene that reviving old classic style that was almost extinct now the class apart from the original. We beer, but only vast lambics. Yes, exactly. I do like the old fashioned styles, if not more than the modern styles, because what I'm finding with craft beer and everything like that is that um, it's starting to get a little bit samey. It's starting to get a little bit predictable, and it's starting to kind of like grind me a little bit with the prices you pay some stuff. And it's just nice now and again to just go more traditional, drink more traditional beers and stuff like that. So it's give or take a little bit, if you know what I mean. But with craft beers, the thing I made a point in this review here for this beer here, okay, the point I made in this review, I've always a very important point, is that the craft beer scene in the UK, it's majorly breweries are putting adjuncts in their beers, okay, which is fair enough. I've got nothing against that, okay. But when you go abroad and you go to a place like Germany, we've got the purity law, which limits you. And the thing what I like about the purity law and the thing what I like about the German beers that I've been trying is that with the simple ingredients brewed right under you know the perfect conditions, it can produce something just as spectacular as a craft beer for me. It really does, and that is a prime example. It really is. It is a beautiful, beautiful lager. It's beautiful. It's just you know for me, Germany is the best country in the world for lagers. It really is. I don't think Pilsners, Czech Republic, lagers, Germany, definitely. Wheat beer, Germany. It's all about being not being fancy with your styles, but it's all about being honest and making an honest brewing, developing an honest beer. Um, so that is, I've noticed the craft breweries that do these old school styles now, you're paying good money for them. But again, lambics, for example, they're Asian oak barrels, etc. So you're paying, but yeah, you do. You pay for the time. But I don't mind paying for the time. I don't mind spending an extra few quid on a lambic because I know in my head I appreciate the amount of time that's gone into producing that beer. Some people who don't know much about beer would think it's a waste of money. But I know, and you know, that you got it up here, it's taken time to produce, love and care, you're gonna pay it. And I think that's the difference with a lot of consumers. is that a lot of consumers going blindfold without knowing what the beer is about. And yeah, I'm not going to pay that for fruit beer, or I'm not going to pay that for, yeah, but you don't know the story behind it. You don't know the brewing traditions behind it, or anything like that, or how far it's come, how far it's travelled from the brewery to you. So for me, you know that if you're paying £8 for a lambic, it's most probably worth it. If you know what I mean, most probably worth it. So, boys and girls, let's have a recap. We're 51 minutes in. I'm going to crack open this stout. Keep it going for another 40, maybe till 7. See how it's going. This is a Neil Peart tribute, by the way. Obviously, there's not many Rush fans out there, so I'm just going to drink it. Crack on the Vocation Yeasty Boys collab, which I haven't had for a while. So, see what that's all about. And we'll get back to a little bit of Neil Peart. So, this is a Neil Peart tribute stream with a bit of beer involved. Obviously, because I'm a beer reviewer, it's a beer channel, and you can't help not talking about beer. So I'm sure Mr. Peart upstairs will be listening in like he does. There you go. I quite like that the first time out. I'm going to see what it's like second time out. So yeah. So where was I? I've given you a discography exactly what Rush songs I adore. Hey, yeah, we've got another comment now, but it's not about Rush. It's not about Neil Peart. See what he's come up. Here we go. I'll pay some big money. That's a Rush song, big money for beers, and to people that don't really know about them. But I think I'm an absolute nutter for doing it. No, you're not a nutter for doing it. You just know your stuff. It's not wine. It's not wine. You know, you spend a fortune on wine, and you know, people think, well, why spend a lot of wine? Beers can be just the same as wine. It's all about exactly what, you know, the background of that beer, the background of the wine is about. So, no, you're not a nut for doing it. I don't think you are anyway. See what's next one. Just crack open the Salt Docks East India Porter. It's really good, mate. Quite thick of mouthfeel and most balls, coffee, chocolate, dry foods. It's good stuff. It sounds great. It sounds great. Like I said, I think this year, reviewing beer, I think for me, last year, it was a Tiny Rebel year for me. I did a lot of Tiny Rebel. This year coming up, I think it's going to be salt. I think there's going to be a lot of salt beers going on this channel over the next, definitely over the next 6 months. I can see us doing the core range and doing other stuff. I'm quite intrigued by Salt Beer Factory, to be honest. So I've got a feeling I'll be doing a lot of them this year. Let's see what coming up. if you don't, if you don't, I will pay whatever it takes, Matt. I will pay whatever it takes. I will pay for a bottle of beer. In other words, I would pay 50 quid for a bottle of beer if I would. The most I've paid, it's been under a tenner, to be honest. The most I paid for beer, I would say about 9 quid, and it was an Omni Polo beer. It's a Noah Pecan Mud, which I paid for 9 quid. I don't mind paying 9 quid if I know that it's going to be pretty spectacular, and of course it is spectacular. So KBS was 8 quid. I don't think I've gone over the £10 mark. Would I? Yeah, I would. I would go over the £10 mark if the beer's right. I definitely would. Definitely would go over the £10 mark. Um, I think it's the quality you want more than the quantity. Um, if you get a beer which is absolutely tastes spectacular, you're gonna go way over £10, maybe £20, £25. I think there's a beer out there I've got my eye on. I want to try. That's the Duvel barrel aged beer. I think it's about 20 quid, 25 quid, but I would do it. I would definitely do it. Let's see what we got. Oh, salt beer seems to be the next big thing coming up with UK brewery. I know what you mean. I hope Bolshots more locally stop more for their beers. I've been very impressed with what I've had. Uh, I've only reviewed one salt beer so far, and that was that Bad Company, the Leafer, which I thought was pretty good. Um, I was sending you a sour, I think, and I've got a can of that myself, which I'm going to do at some point. Um, but I'm quite intrigued by it. I think um, I don't know much about them. I'll be honest. I don't know much about Salt Beer Factory. I would imagine them being in Yorkshire. I'd imagine them being at Saltaire because the salt has been abbreviation of Saltaire. So I'd imagine them being that way, and I imagine them being um, pretty consistent in their beers as well. I think their beers will be pretty good, consistency wise. So I paid £20 off my hustle. That's for Goose Island and Bourbon County. I think it's about 3 years. A pint size ball, but it's up buying two. I would buy that. I've never had it. I've never had the Goose Island Bourbon County. I know I've heard a lot about it. I've never had it. I've always wanted to try it. So do me a favour, mate. If you see it anywhere, give us a little bell, send us a message, and I'll go out and give it a whirl. I've never had that one ever, but I've heard a lot about it. So tell us exactly what you think. Tell us exactly where I could get it from. Trembling Madness did it briefly once, but I've never seen it ever since. And I was kicking myself because I should have, bought it there and then. But you know, £20 is a lot of money for a bottle of beer. Um, it is. It's a bottle of beer. It's £20, but like you say, like we said before, it's all about what goes into that beer, the time, the brewing, the passion. Passion goes into that bottle. You know what I mean? So I'm going to go in with this. See what its vocations are. Better than what I thought it was. It's all right. So, boys and girls, let's have a recap. This is a Neil Peart tribute, and we're talking about beer, which I don't mind talking about beer, because I'm sure Neil upstairs will be wanting me to talk about beer because I'm a beer channel, um, as ever. Um, so there's not many Rush fans out there. I think, to be honest, uh, I don't think there's many Rush fans at all out there. Not many people are watching this at the moment, but we will carry on as ever. See what comes up in the comments. Go back to old school styles. I've noticed some people on Instagram who rate beers. Every single beer has to be a real fancy can. There's never anything old school that they review. The thing about beer reviewing, and this is my tip to you, Matt, if you ever want to do a YouTube thing, is that you got to do everything. When I say you got to do everything, I mean everything. I mean alcohol free. I mean Foster's, Carlin. Then you need to do, you know, stuff in the supermarkets like that. Then you need to go abroad. You need to try the German stuff. You need to try the Belgian stuff. You need to try the American stuff. When you review beer, to be a proper beer reviewer on YouTube, irrespective of what views you get, irrespective of what subs you get, you gotta review everything, including bits of cider. do the whole lot. If you don't do the whole lot, then people will most probably see through you because, oh, he only does posh beers. He only does, you know, you got to do the lot. And I mean a lot. John Smith's, Carlin, Omnipollo, anything. You got to do it. If it's in a glass, it's liquid, it's alcoholic, it's a beer, you drink it, you review it. And that's my total outlook on this. Ever since I started, you just do everything. You don't turn anything away. You don't turn your nose up anything. You review the fucking lot, and that's the way you do. You know, instead of pigeonhole yourself in craft beer, you gotta broaden it all out and go for the lot. Go for the whole lot. Drink ciders, everything, because that's the only way for me you become a proper beer reviewer is to do everything. You know, not just craft beer. I know that some people out there prefer to do craft beer. Is it easier to do craft beer? It is. I find it easier to review a craft beer than it is a lager. Because with a craft beer, these taste notes are so pronounced. They're so kind of like, you know, they make it easy for you. You can pick them taste notes out in a craft beer more than what you can with a lager. With a lager, it's harder because when you're talking about lagers, you got little notes, subtle notes, little notes that maybe you won't pick up, you know? And even then, you know, because it's so easy drinking, you gotta get everybody on board. I got the Bourbon County from Bill. So when they did, yes. Let's go back to. He's got another comment coming up. Let's see what it says. Yeah, you're right, mate. I'm sure that's how. Ooh, see it comes up. Yeah, you're right, mate. I'm sure that's how people find you and describe their interest to know what a beer drinker drinks to some of the mainstream. So even though you've used craft and real, you got to do the lot. You got to look at it from the. This is what I said. This is my own philosophy. My own philosophy of this channel is to treat yourself, to look at yourself, to treat yourself as a man on the street. You're the man on the street. You're walking down the street. You got an off license. You got a shop there. You go into the shop. You go up to the shelves. You pick beers off the shelf. You go and pay for it. You go home. You're viewing it from a consumer. You're not a brewer. I'm not a brewer. You're viewing it from someone who's paid money for a beer, whether it's £3 for a can of that or whatever. And I look at it from that point of view. Is this beer worth £3? It most probably is. Is this beer worth £2? Most probably isn't. That's the way you look at it. Because that's the way that's the way I'll see it. If you know, there's no limits when you review beer. You either go for the poshest beer available, but the next review you could do the cheapest beer available. I could do Sainsbury's Basics 1 week, and the following week I'll do some bloody airy fairy £15 a can, you know, Omnipollo thing. I don't know, you know what I mean? you got to do the lot. You really have to do the lot, and don't get obsessed by viewing figures. Don't get obsessed by your subs. You just go on there every week, stick that camera on, tell people what you think about beer. If it kind of like hits the skids, fair enough. But if it takes off, fair enough. It's like a gamble. It's what you should do, and that's the way I've approached every review. Every review I approach, I might repeat myself in some of them. I don't care. I'm just doing it. At least I'm being honest of what I think. And that is the main thing. You've got to be honest when you review a beer. There's no point talking something up when you know deep down inside it's a heap of shit. There you go. Well, I see people and every single view is a fancy car and everything else. They're the type of people who, let's face it, are snobs. You need to get people reviewing beers which try every type of beer, every type of style, every type of lager, beer, anything like that. That's the way that you should do. That's the way you should do. Also, as you know, being a beer reviewer, you have to try beers from all over the world as well. Also, try styles that you have never really tasted, given a chance before. Yes, you do. But the one thing you should do if you try a beer, what you're not familiar with or familiar with the style, before you even do a beer review, this is what I do. Just go on the internet, Google it, Google the style. You know, this one here, this Weltenberger. I found out about it. I Googled it up, went on Beer Advocate, see what it's all about. Not taste notes, but just see the history behind the beer or whatever, how long it's been available, who's behind it, who's, been brewing it, or if they've made any alterations in the recipe, that's another thing. And then you pour it out in that glass, set the camera away, and let this speak to you. You're the conveyor of what this beer is trying to say to you out there. And that's the way I approach every beer review. You're a messenger between the glass and the camera. That's all you are. You got a different palate, you got a different opinion, but no one's ever right, no one's ever wrong. And that is the way you look at, beer reviews. That's the way you do a beer review. You do it from the perspective of what you honestly feel about it, but you do it also from the history point of view. You find out about the beer, find out what you're drinking before anything else. We got a comment from Drawing Butterfly. Hello, Drawing Butterfly. Nice of you to join us. Nice of you to join us as ever. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure, Drawing Butterfly. Matt Barker's come up with another. Like you said, the best way to drink beer is by doing a mix. Nothing wrong with the craft beer. Mix in with everything else too. Nothing wrong with these 4 for 6. No, there isn't. There isn't. Traditional breweries know what they're doing. They're trying to latch onto the craft beer scene, a lot of them, but they're trying to keep their costs down. They're trying to keep their distribution down, and they're trying to make it cheaper for the likes of you and me to go to a supermarket and pick them up in a deal, which is fair enough. You can't complain about that. But, to review a beer, say a craft beer from, say, Marston's with a to Hall beer, you got to put the perspective in it of how much you paid for either beer. That, whatever you pay for that beer, you do take that into account when you do a review, because you can pick up a can of something for £3 and it'll taste gorgeous, and you got another can for about £8 and it's just as gorgeous, but it's not much better. So you got to weigh it up in your head as you do the review of how good the beer is, if you know what I mean. If you know what I mean. Matt Barr says, I never used to like sours. Again, Spurs are very hit and miss, but you got to give the style of Spurs. Yeah, but again, Spurs are very hit and miss. Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are, definitely are. But it's like anything, it's any style what there is out there. You'll always get the leaders and the followers and the ones you don't want to even try, It's like anything. Same with music. You always get leaders, followers, and bands which you wouldn't even bother with. It's the same with anything, I suppose. So what else we got? Then you have breweries at which were changing the labels and making their brand an absolute train wreck. Some breweries change their labels, updating, blending the crop. Whichwood, Whichwood. Just drink this. Whichwood Brewery. What can I say about Whichwood Brewery now? There's not a lot. It's disappointing seeing them labels the way they are now. A 3-year-old kid could do them labels. They belong on some parent's fridge in their kitchen. Um, I don't know what to say about Wishwood, to be honest, to be else anymore. They've been dragged through the gutter, and that's where they belong, I think, Wishwood now. Um, I thought to myself the other day, when's the next time you'll ever review a Witchwood beer? I don't know whether there will be another Witchwood beer. I don't know. Um, I just, it's what can you say about them? Nothing really. People most probably think they're great, but nah, they're not great anymore. They're nothing. They're just a laughing stock. Marston's have made Witchwood into a laughing stock, especially with their labels. I've seen some of the dry neck label. I think, what the fuck's all that about? You know, you had brand loyalty, you had a following, and you've gone and just fucked it up. You know what I mean? But that's the way it goes. Let's see what's going on next. The reason which will gain so many fans because of their low labels, they collected bars and everything because of them. Which are yes, they are. They had brand loyalty. They had a following which a lot of breweries would crave for because they had a theme. They had a theme with their beers. They had the t-shirt. I've got a Witcher t-shirt on now. They had the t-shirts, they had the marketing. And what did they do? What did Marston's do to that brewery? They've made them into a laughing stock. Like you say, they've made them into something which now you look at their labels, you look at the brand identity of that brewery, and you think to yourself, it's an absolute disgrace what they've done to that brewery. And the beer isn't that much better either. So, cheers, goblins, if you're out there. Matt Barr says that the sales were nosedive. Most probably will. So, get me a cup. Yeah. I'll sit and drink that one night. Might pour some of it in a stew. I mean, Hobgoblin used to be a really, really good beer, Matt. It really did. You go back 10 years, Hobgoblin was a cracking beer. Before, before Masters took over Witchwood, it was a cracking beer. I remember it. I remember Fiddler's Elbow, the wheat beer they did as well. That was a cracking beer. But like anything, it's the brand, what Masters wanted, not the beer itself. It's the brand because the brand sells. It's got loyalty. It's got brand loyalty, and these people in these kind of like forums on the internet going on about um, Witchwood all the time and collecting all the Witchwood bottles and stuff. It's them lot who I feel sorry for because they've kept this brand going. But also, I'm a little bit irritated by them because you think, well, there's a stack of beers out there 10 times better than Witchwood, just get out there and try them. And some of them I don't think do. I just kind of like to stay safe. Either go to Aldi or Lidl for a cheap 150 bottle of ale. And that's it. They should just broaden their horizons more. Definitely. Definitely. So, boys and girls, I'm going to call time on this one, I think. I'm at 1:15 in. This was a Neil Peart tribute. I'm going to finish off with this stream with a Neil Peart tribute because that's the reason why I came out here and done this. We've got one comment, I think, be from Matt. See what he says. I used to be proud, but always why they would come too big. The quality did go downhill, Matt. They did, and it never recovered. Never recovered. Never did. It's just shit. You know, Goblin IPA weren't bad, but it's just shit. So, boys and girls, it's Neil Peart tribute. This was for Neil Peart. So I'm going to raise a toast to Neil Peart for what he did for people who followed him all these years, all these people who worshipped his drumming, worshipped his music, worshipped his lyrics, and did everything for music in general. So I'm going to make a toast to everybody to Neil Peart. It's a tribute to him. Fantastic drummer, fantastic band. But it's a big shock with him passing away. So cheers, Neil. Cracking stuff. We got another comment. Stefan, in Germany, Lidl offers Hobgoblin beer in 4 to 6 different brews 2 times a year. And some beers are just ugly, some are great. Stefan, Hobgoblin used to be a great beer 10 years ago in England. Used to be before Marston's took them over and absolutely destroyed the brewery, the marketing, everything. So it's yeah, it's just one of the things. Matt Barr says, one more thought for the night, mate. Do tell Matt. Do tell me. Do tell me your thoughts. Anybody who's into Rush out there, tell me your favourite Rush quotes. Neil Peart tribute night. It's not been much to Neil Peart tribute night, but he'll understand up there. He'll understand. He's the greatest drummer that ever lived. What's he say? I had Stay Puft down for the first time in about 2 years. I had Stay Puft when they first released a bowl. Now they're mass produced stuff. I didn't think much to the mass produced cans. I enjoyed them. I thought it weren't bad. Stay Puft is my favourite Tiny Rebel beer. I think there'll be another beer which overtakes that. I like the variations and the Bailey's Irish cream version. I thought I loved it. I really did. I really did indeed. So on that note, I have to say to you boys and girls out there, if you like Neil Peart, give me a thumbs up. Thank you for watching this live feed tonight. I'll be doing another one next week, a normal Saturday night live, as ever. We got another comment. It's got to come off, but there's another one come up. Yeah, it does. It does, Matt, mate. It's not us talking to everybody, as ever. Matthew, I'll get your parcel sorted in the next couple of weeks. Join me next week, Matt. I'll be on here this time next week, doing a normal Saturday night live, as ever. Thank you very much for joining me. 1 hour, 20 minutes in. It's been a cracker. God bless Neil Peart. God bless Rush. God bless you. And I shall see all of you on my next one. Cheers, everybody. Have I finished? No, I fucking haven't.